Elena knelt on the cold kitchen floor, her knees aching from hours of scrubbing, the harsh scent of bleach burning her nostrils. Her hands were raw, cracked from the endless chores her parents piled on her, cooking, cleaning, laundering, as if she were nothing more than a hired hand in her own home. But tonight, something felt different. The air in the small, dingy house was thicker, laced with a tension she couldn't place. Her mother, Rita, stood over her, arms crossed, her face twisted in disgust. "You're worthless, Elena," Rita spat, her voice sharp as a whip. "Always have been. We should have left you in the woods where we found you." Elena's heart stopped. She looked up, her wide green eyes meeting her mother's cold stare. What do you mean, found me?" Her father, Hank, lumbered in from the living room, his beer belly straining against his shirt, a cruel smirk on his lips. "You think you're our blood? Huh. We picked you up as a baby, crying in the dirt after some freak storm. Thought you'd be useful. But you're not. You're a burden. And tonight, we're done." Before Elena could process the words, Hank grabbed her by the arm, his grip bruising. She stumbled as he dragged her toward the door, her mind reeling. Not their daughter? All these years of beatings, of being locked in her room without food, of hearing them whisper that she was different, it all crashed over her like a wave. "Please," she whispered, tears blurring her vision. "Don't do this. I can work harder. I'll do anything." Rita laughed, a bitter sound. "Anything? Too late, girl. The wolves will take care of you now." With that, Hank shoved her out into the biting night air, the door slamming shut behind her. She pounded on it, her fists aching, screaming until her throat was raw. But no one answered. The lock clicked. They had abandoned her, left her to die in the darkness. The forest loomed at the edge of their property, a wall of twisted trees and shadows that whispered secrets. Elena wrapped her thin arms around herself, the wind slicing through her threadbare dress. How could they? She had given them everything: her childhood, her dreams, her kindness, even when they didn't deserve it. Deep down, she had always felt out of place, like a puzzle piece forced into the wrong spot. But this betrayal cut deeper than any bruise. She had no choice. The town was miles away, and with no money, no phone, she'd freeze out here. So she stumbled into the woods, branches snagging at her skin, roots tripping her feet. Her breaths came in ragged gasps, fear clawing at her chest. What if wild animals found her? What if she never made it out? But as she pushed deeper, a strange calm settled over her. The cold didn't bite as hard as it should. Animals rustled in the underbrush but didn't approach. It was as if the forest recognized her, welcomed her in a way her so-called family never had. Hours blurred into agony. Elena's legs burned, her stomach growled from hunger. She collapsed against a massive oak, sobs racking her body. "Why me?" she murmured to the stars peeking through the canopy. In her mind, memories flashed: small kindnesses she'd shown others, like sneaking food to the neighbors' kids when her parents weren't looking, or tending to a wounded bird in secret. She was kind. Damn it. She deserved better. But survival? That was a fight she wasn't sure she could win. A low growl echoed through the trees, freezing her blood. Elena's head snapped up. Glowing amber eyes stared back from the shadows. A massive shape emerged, larger than any wolf she'd ever imagined, its fur midnight black, muscles rippling under the moonlight. It was no ordinary animal. It was a beast, a giant, with paws the size of dinner plates and teeth that glinted like daggers. Panic surged through her. She scrambled back, her heart pounding. "Stay away," she cried, but her voice trembled. The wolf circled her, its gaze intense, almost intelligent. Then, in a blur of motion that made her gasp, the air shimmered, bones cracked, and the wolf transformed. Before her stood a man, a giant of a man, easily 7 feet tall, broad-shouldered and chiseled like a statue from ancient myths. His dark hair fell in waves to his shoulders, his jaw set in a hard line, those amber eyes now piercing her soul. "Who are you?" Elena whispered, her back against the tree, unable to look away. He was dressed in simple leather pants and a tunic that strained against his powerful frame, exuding an aura of raw dominance that made her knees weak. "I am Ronan, king of the Lycans," his voice rumbled, deep and commanding, like thunder rolling over hills. It sent a shiver down her spine, not just fear, but something electric, unspoken. "And you, little one, are trespassing in my territory." Elena's mind raced. Lycans? Like werewolves from stories? But this was real. He was real. And he didn't attack. Instead, he stepped closer, his presence overwhelming, his scent of pine and earth wrapping around her like a cloak. I didn't mean to, she stammered. My parents, they threw me out. I have nowhere to go. Ronan's eyes narrowed, a flicker of something unreadable crossing his cold features. He was emotionally walled off, his dominance, a shield. Kings didn't show weakness. But her words stirred something deep inside him, a pull he couldn't ignore. She smelled different, not fully human, with a hint of wild power buried beneath her fragility. His mate? No, impossible. He pushed the thought away. You reek of weakness, he said flatly, though his tone held no malice. But the forest hasn't claimed you yet. Come. He turned, expecting obedience, and Elena hesitated. Follow a stranger, a Lycan King? But what choice did she have? Death in the woods or this? She trailed after him, her steps tentative, the tension between them thick as fog. Every glance he threw over his shoulder made her pulse quicken. Why did he help? What did he want? They walked in silence, the path widening into a hidden trail. Ronan's mind churned. He had sensed her from miles away, a faint call in his blood that drew him like a magnet. But kings didn't bend for strays. His pack needed a strong ruler, not distractions. Yet, as he glanced at her trembling form, a crack formed in his icy resolve. She was kind-eyed, deep-souled, unlike the scheming females in his court. What if she was more than she seemed? Elena stole glances at him, her thoughts a whirlwind. He was terrifyingly powerful, his every movement screaming control. But he hadn't hurt her. In fact, he moved branches aside for her, his actions subtle but protective. Her heart ached with confusion. After years of being treated like dirt, this giant treated her with respect? No, it couldn't be. But the way his eyes lingered on her made her skin tingle. Suddenly, a branch snapped nearby. Ronan's hand shot out, pulling her behind him, his body a wall of muscle. Stay close, he growled, his voice low and possessive. Elena's breath caught. Was that a threat in the shadows, or just her imagination? Her hand brushed his arm, sparks flying, and he stiffened, but didn't pull away. They emerged from the forest into a sprawling clearing, where a massive stone castle rose against the night sky, torches flickering along its walls. Guards Lycans in human form nodded to Ronan, their eyes curious on Elena. He led her inside, the halls echoing with power. You'll stay here, he said abruptly, pushing open a door to a lavish room with a four-poster bed, silk sheets, and a roaring fire. Bathe, eat, rest. Elena's eyes widened. Why? You don't even know me. His gaze darkened, a storm brewing. Because I command it, but inside, doubt gnawed at him. Her scent was intoxicating, stirring his wolf. If she was his true mate, rejecting her could destroy him. But he was king. Emotions were chains. He turned to leave, but paused. What's your name? Elena, she said softly, her voice pulling at him like a thread. Ronan nodded once, then strode out, the door closing with a thud. Alone, Elena sank onto the bed, tears flowing. This room was fit for a queen, not a servant. But why her? Deep down, she felt a warmth stirring, like a dormant fire awakening. Her scratches from the woods, they were already healing, faster than normal. What was happening to her? Outside, Ronan paced his chambers, fists clenched. He had felt the mate bond snap into place the moment he saw her. But he couldn't afford it. His pack was at war with rival clans. A weak human or whatever she was would be a liability. Regret flickered unresolved. Had he made a mistake bringing her here? Or was she the key to everything? The next morning, Elena woke to sunlight streaming through velvet curtains. A tray of food waited: fresh fruits, warm bread, meats she hadn't tasted in years. She ate slowly, savoring, but her mind wandered to Ronan. He was cold, yes, but his eyes held depths she wanted to explore. A knock came, and a maid entered, bowing. The king requests your presence. Elena's heart raced. She followed the maid to a grand hall, where Ronan sat on a throne of carved oak, his presence dominating the room. Advisors flanked him, whispering. He looked up, his amber eyes locking on hers, and for a split second, the cold mask cracked. Hunger, raw and real. Approach, he commanded, his voice sending shivers through her. She stepped forward, aware of every eye on her. Tell me your story, Elena, all of it.